while doing this realizing, to find a letter enclosing a clipping from Zgoda that returned to my ears the heavy thunder of Milwaukee Avenue artillery forever trained on Harper's. "Sirs," was the opening barrage, "do you realize the instrument that never come morning is in the hands of hungry Nazi propagandists against law-abiding citizens of the only stock in the world that dared brace itself against the onslaught of the tribe of madmen calling themselves Herrenvolk?" And all this while I'd been thinking England was on our side. Yes, gentlemen, you have now joined forces with those disrupting the minds of men engaged in defense industry around the clock who have no time to fight off never-come-morning attacks, while it is possible for the author, to whom you pay royalties for helping smear a group of citizens which form a great part of Chicago voters, which group has built more churches than any other city, whose people maintain parochial schools and still contribute to the public school system, to rake in fees while blood is being shed by sons of this nationality group and sweat rolls off brows of their fathers, brothers, and even mothers in a free country with malice toward none. If he, the author, were not guilty of prejudice against us, he would not dare smear his pages with the unsavory Polak 41 times, or an average of more than once every 7 pages. Certainly, if Boston can protest and ban such a book as H.M. Pullum, Esquire, Chicago, and particularly its Polish-American residents, have a right to voice vehement objection to this objectionable book. The German sky was lowering as though sensing its final defeat. Supper would be Argentine corned beef, and breakfast would be French toast again. It looked like somebody was bearing malice, all right. Yet I found this new method of measuring intolerance exhilarating. Now at last we would be able to tell how much of that wicked stuff a given soldier or civilian contained simply by striking a mean of the number of times he wrote or said Polak. We now had concrete evidence that in writing, "He smoked the sledded Polacks on the ice," Hamlet, Act 1, Scene 1, Shakespeare had given us nothing more than another anti-Polish slander. Thus, through the furious logic of illiteracy, we had come full cycle. We had fought in snow and slept in rain because somebody had said that every time he heard the word culture, he reached for his gun, and now we had won him the right of reaching for it. The man who had lost the war was not necessarily German, nor was the man who had won it necessarily American. The man who had won it was the man who divides words from meaning in order to make a book serve a meaning of his own, and never reads the writer's book at all. His only book is himself, and he reads it over and over. The victor in any land was the man who feels himself terribly wronged if his ultimatum on what his neighbors should read, what they should wear, and what they should think is questioned. We had crossed an ocean only to find that that boar lived on the same street as ourselves. So much for World War II. I never did get my good conduct ribbon. 20 years have since blown 10,000 novels by as lightly as colored confetti is blown the morning after the corner carnival leaves. 2 decades have turned Zgoda's pages, once white with fury, to a wan, stale brown. Peanut patriots, hell-bent in their thousands, living on usury or worse 6 days a week, and saluting the flag from sunup to sunset on the 7th, all are down, dead, or dying, or turned to a wan, stale brown. The long, mindless jackass bray that once wound down West Division Street, "Nazi agents may be buying up thousands of copies of Never Come Morning to kill growing good opinion of Poles," has been unwound on a Milwaukee Avenue wind, blown as a handful of colored confetti is blown, as a novel that was once a bestseller is blown. Once readers and gawkers alike have turned wan brown. Yet the novel that the rear echelon patriots and Sunday morning forgive-me-lords failed to understand, strangely has found understanding on the bookshelves of Europe. Le matin se fait attendre, Jean-Paul Sartre's translation, was the first of a dozen translations.